Well, hello everyone. Today I have two really special guests with me. Both of them are mostly online sharks, but they humbly call themselves whales of the game. Let me introduce my first guest for the podcast, who is none other than Aniket Wagmare, three times millionaire champion and having a total of more than 9 crores in cashes. And my other guest is Aran, who is a young blood who has already secured cashes of more than 5 crores. Well, my first question to you guys. I think you guys have a very different play style. Like I've seen Aniket four betting on the flop and folding, and Aryan who even goes bigger with second pairs and third pairs. Well, how would you guys classify your play style and what makes you unique? We'll start with Aniket. Let's Aniket, if you can tell us what is your play style,
Yeah,
what makes you.
thanks for calling us indirectly whales in the intro, by the way. Good
I did
to
not. I did
good to
not. You
get a
guys.
reality check always.
Well,
But
I copied it from Aryan's LinkedIn.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's good, it's accurate, so it's good.
So yeah.
I would say my playstyle, as you said, like yeah, I'm pretty aggressive. Generally, I have aggressive tendencies. But over the years, my philosophy is generally while playing is that I study the GTO stuff. I take concepts from it and I try to understand the concepts on a broader level. And then in game when I'm playing, I trust my instincts, whichever like they're guided by the study, but I am very fine with doing unorthodox things and very different things, like you said, forward on flop and fold, fishy things. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's how I find it. I've previously, like a couple of years ago, maybe I was not that confident in my play, and I always used to continuously think about what I'm supposed to do in every spot, for example, and crib over that small things. But now I evolved to a point where I trust my instincts kind of, and I'm wrong a lot of times. Of course, I'm wrong more versus better players. I'm right more versus worse players. And yeah, that's how I go about the game. I trust my instincts based on the study I've done over a period of time, and I keep improving, of course. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I you told us that in like a few years ago, maybe a few months ago, you were not sure about what to do in a particular spot or the other spot.
Yeah.
So right now, what changed that? Like now you are sure. Okay, let's do this.
No,
Let's
I'm
do
not
that.
unconsciously, right? Like when you play every day, keep learning, even if you're not doing some focused spot study or anything. So I've learned that over a period of time with my experience and with what I've studied is that I've learned to trust my instinct basically and not overthink what I'm supposed to do or what is the GTO answer for this. Just, go with my, I mean, you can call me a field player only by now. I mean, I trust my instinct more than anything right now, basically.
That's very unique, I would say, because for online players, mostly they are like focusing on player tendencies, frequencies, looking at
Yeah,
her.
I mean, player tendencies a lot. Everything, I look at everything. I'm saying, I am not like, let's say I'm in a spot, right? And it's a flop, someone has check raise. So by
Mhm.
now, I generally know what to call against the check raise, right? Like
Yeah.
what the wizard will tell us, I know that generally, but
Yep.
not exactly. And in the moment, if I feel like this guy is full of shit or whatever, then I'm ready to deviate from that as well. That's what I'm talking about. Like not doing crazy shit, but I know the baseline kind of, and then I'm okay with deviating based on my instinct. So that's how I would categorize my style of play.
So I think the more play style is like when you know what to call, you call those things. When you're not sure what to call or what to fold, you just three bet it on the flop. No?
That's all. That's always a good thing. But yeah, like
Like the amount of three betting on the flops or turns that I've seen in my career for like 1 year or 2 years, it's from this guy. Like I have, like you talk about the best players like Gaurav Sood, Ashish Munot, and anyone for that matter. The amount of three betting this guy does on the flop, not pre-flop, the flop and the turn. Like you always are like not like you have to think about okay, let's bluff him, but then you're not sure if this guy will bluff you again. That is the kind of
yeah,
player that
that's why
Aniket
I'm
is.
not one of the best players.
Yeah.
That's I do
No,
some
no, no, bro. It's
sometimes.
very tough to play versus you.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, I try to base it on what I know already, and I obviously keep studying. I don't do
Mm.
random shit like with random combos,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with deviating, you know.
All right. Let's move the spotlight to Aran. Aran, what do you want to say about your playstyle and what makes you unique?
I think he spoke a lot of what like I wanted to say as well because it's like even I'm and he framed it very well. Like I feel like I am more of a field player probably. Like in the sense that even I will study, I'll do that, but like my instinct just is what I rely on more on the tables because unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, we play a very recreational heavy field, right? So they
Yeah.
don't study as much. So to think of what's perfect against them kind of becomes like you're overthinking a spot way more than you need to. So sometimes it just works like, you basically, and I am all for obviously knowing what to do. I am not that good at knowing what to do, but I try my best to like approach a spot correctly theory wise and then probably deviate if I have information otherwise. But वही जैसे उन्होंने बोला field player तो मतलब that field player needs to be there a little bit because otherwise it just becomes a little like one step easier probably to be a field when you're playing on your like instinct and when you're understanding opponents and like वैसे होता है.
And I think it
That's
makes
just
game and I think it makes the game more interesting because if you're just doing what the solver is doing, just like clicking buttons and just not looking at what the other guy is, what is his name, what is his vpip, like then it just makes, I think, like if we keep doing that, it might make the game not that interesting. I would not say it'll make the game more like boring, but it'll not the game will not be that interesting if we just
it
follow
might
what the
start becoming a
GTO is
little
doing.
straightforward. It might start
Yeah, I
becoming a
mean,
little straightforward. Yeah,
and then we can't play as bots, like those tendencies that the GTO finds. We can't find that, right? Like it is not
yeah,
humanly possible to do that.
yeah. I agree.
So वो चीज़
You
है.
Yeah, yeah,
can
and no
handle
one is
like a 8% pay. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. I was just continuing with the what I was
Join.
saying is that no one is playing this GTO strategy anyways. Uh,
Yeah,
but once again, I mean, just to be, I think Aryan also is was saying kind of the same thing is that it's not like we are doing random stuff. It's at
I
this
might.
point where I just know the broader concepts. I take the broader concepts and you deviate because you play every day with the same people. And like
yeah,
Aryan said, it's such a recreational heavy field. There are spots where you're supposed to triple barrel bluff, but you shouldn't.
yeah,
Just by your
Yeah,
experience, you know this. You're
definitely.
not supposed to call, but you should in this field against this player. I mean, sometimes you're wrong, of course, but that's a game, right? You're wrong sometimes, and it's a game of probabilities. So
See, Aniket, I'm not sure about you being totally random or not, and I say this with all respect about Aran. Aran from UTG opens the range that I think button or even like the aggressive button will open. It doesn't matter if he has chips or not. I've seen that live in front of my eyes that he's opening some random hands, bro. Kuch
which is
sense
why
nahi.
when you said no, when you said we don't do random, I was like, okay, I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes I do.
Right?
Sometimes
Matlab,
is a very debatable word, but yes, sometimes I do.
like Aniket, I'm telling you this, right? It doesn't matter if he
yeah.
has 200 bigs or 20 bigs. If he wants to open a hand, he will open a hand, right? ऐसा नहीं है मतलब आई एम सेइंग दिस विद
I mean,
रिस्पेक्ट
I
क्योंकि
played with Aryan enough to
Okay,
know.
that's okay.
Yeah,
ये मतलब
but
ये
Exactly. All three of us have played a ton together.
like yeah, this is like with all respect क्योंकि to
I'm
open
not
that
feeling
kind
bad
of a
at all.
range.
I know I do it. It's not.
Yeah, like no,
It's not
like
the
with this
other.
you need confidence to do that, right? Because obviously if you're
yeah,
opening something from UTG which let's say opens from cutoff or button, so you are backing yourself to be really good post flop because most of the time you will go post flop, right?
Yeah.
Because now everyone knows that BB has to defend a lot. So in a lot of scenarios, maybe like 60-70% of the scenarios, you are at least seeing the flop and you are not sure if you're going to be facing one person or two people,
Yeah. Yeah.
four
So
minimum four in India, bro.
yeah, minimum.
What are
Two
you
people
talking
time
about
is
two?
gone. The two people time was a while ago. Where button flatted like tight and then big blind came along. Now
Yeah,
cut
Yeah,
off, hijack, hijack, cut off and button all will flat. And then big
yeah.
blind will be like price तो सही मिल रहा है चलो any two.
देखते हैं देखते हैं भाई
Indian
क्या
field में
चल रहा
hijack का flatting range is 50%, bro. A
Max
different
फ्लैट
GTO.
करना hijack से वो करेगा.
हाँ, that is true. मतलब यार bro, like it's about we are playing as we said we are playing a lot of recreational heavy field and they want to see a flop, right? They're playing this for fun. They're not
Yeah, we're
playing
playing.
to actually win money. They're just playing to enjoy and see how
Yeah.
they are versus the players who study every day and just to put them in spots. That is
They're coming
another
for
thing.
their fun. They're coming for their fun. They don't know hand strength as per the way we know hand strength. Like, okay, these hands are opened under the gun for these reasons. These A lot of these guys, like it's probably a lot of these guys don't even know the names of the positions. Like they just know कि मैं like यहाँ से खेल रहा हूँ ये hand because मेरे को hand पसंद है. Like 9-7 suited मेरा favorite hand है. मैं open कर रहा हूँ under the gun से. But 10-8 suited मैं button से नहीं open कर रहा हूँ. मेरे को बहुत खराब लगता है. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's no
Yeah.
rational or there's no like theory study backed behind what they do, but they enjoy it. They're coming for fun. They're all allowed to do what they want. Obviously, it's their money, right?
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
see, I see what I don't like about the industry, not even industry, about the players, that they go really aggressive versus the players who are opening wider and getting lucky and all. I think we need to respect them because actually the game is around them and not around us. You know, and another thing to see is like whenever something funny happens with me, when I see a hand that it's not supposed to be there, right? I just laugh. I'm like, this is fun,
no,
this is like, this is interesting. Let's go
Yeah.
to war. So, I mean, that I think that makes the game more interesting for me, at least. I would say that.
चीज लगता है ऐसे like it's उसका पैसा है, उसका टाइम है. अगर वो इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है, उसको जैसे मजा आ रहा है उसको मजा आने दो. अब
True.
उसको 9-4
Exactly.
ऑफ अंडर द गन खोल के मजा आ रहा है तो उसको मजा आने दो. वो
Huh,
अपना प्रॉब्लम
definitely.
नहीं है. He's come there to enjoy himself. He's not come there to show us his poker skill. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. And by now, all of us are experienced enough to know not to get affected by that, like
Yeah.
if we
And like,
lose to some weird combo, it's fine, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, send him an emoji
But I
also.
think recently it's that Basi really helps, when you can have fun with emojis. But
Yeah.
at least then it cools off the heat very quickly because someone will send he all those emojis and stuff. Kind
Yeah.
of cools off the heat.
Well, let me switch the topic a little bit offside poker. ठीक है, पोकर के अलावा क्या चल रहा है? बिकॉज वी नो वे अनिकेत का कुछ नहीं पता. देखो, अनिकेत का तो भाई सोशल पे मेरे को नहीं दिखता उतना एक्टिव. ठीक है,
पता नहीं क्योंकि कुछ है ही नहीं पोकर के
नहीं
अलावा
मतलब
फिलहाल,
वही वही मैं
इसीलिए
कह रहा हूँ.
पता.
मैं आर्यन का चलो थोड़ा बहुत दिख जाता है, कभी कनाडा
Yeah,
घूम रहा है, कभी बॉम्बे घूम रहा है, कुछ दिख जाता है, राइट?
yeah.
तो क्या है मतलब सीन? सिर्फ पोकर है आपके लिए? वेल, अगेन आई विल कम टू आर्यन a little bit later, but
आराम से.
let me let me focus on Aniket. तो अनिकेत
Even I
क्या
don't know.
लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है? मतलब पोकर ही
I mean, unfortunately or
अनफॉर्चुनेटली.
fortunately, whatever. But yes, I mean, currently I'm only playing poker और मेरा traveling होता है मेरे रूम से किचन तक और किचन से रूम तक. ये मेरा traveling चल रहा है. कनाडा विनाडा बाद में. But
पहले पैसे
uh,
कमा लो.
no, I mean, no, it's actually a bad thing. I mean, really, if I'm self-reflecting, it's a bad thing. But I have got into this routine now, and it's kind of tough to pull away, once you get in this habit. It's a bad
Yeah.
habit, honestly, like, because if I have to, like, ideally, I should be playing as a professional, let's say 5 days a week or something, and taking mini vacations, stuff like that. That would be a good professional balanced life.
Yeah.
Because you cannot put your life on hold to do your profession. Then it's not your profession. It's a routine or whatever. I don't know. But I am
Yeah.
in that phase right now. Since lockdown, I'm in that phase. I mean, I know I need to get out of it. It's not something I'm proud of or anything, but yeah, that's the reality of it. So currently, I'm not doing anything other than poker. I get up, I study things, then I start playing, and then I go to sleep. That's how my life is going on right now.
भी कर रहे थे इसके पहले कहीं?
No, I had a basic starting job in 2018 or something, but after 2018, I'm only playing poker. Yeah.
And you play everywhere, right? Like you were crushing GG fields when GG was not known to
We
Indian
should
players,
not talk
right?
about that, right?
बट नहीं, वो बात ठीक है, हम बात उसके
Edit,
बारे में
edit.
उसके बारे में मैं नहीं जा रहा, मैं जीजी पे कहीं नहीं जा रहा. बट व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज कि यू वर like crushing when even the pros were not crushing in international fields.
No, like I got lucky. That's about it. I mean, now I know what my like looking back, I know what my level was in the game. Even then, I knew it. I'm very aware about where I am. Like right now, I consider myself, for example, a bad kind of reg who doesn't do well in international fields, who will not do well. I know my play. I just am good in the Indian fields.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, even looking back, I know that I just got lucky a couple of times, and it happened to be in like super big spots, So
Well,
yeah,
I think you're like putting yourself down when you say that you're not that really good, because See,
No, no,
I
I'm
speak.
great in Indian fields. I have like I it's not humility, it's reality because I know my game. I know how, when I play, I understand, oh, these are the spots where I'm uncomfortable. So now I can
Mhm.
say that in Indian fields, I'm comfortable in almost every sport against almost every player. But which has happened just now. I mean, late 2023, 24 or something. But like just compared to the global scale, the GG scores and all were just a, flash in the pan kind of scores, basically.
Will I can't say I agree to that because
Yeah, I know.
whoever I've spoken to, they say that Aniket is a really good player, right? And I speak with a lot of good poker players and not recreational that won't know about you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is like kudos to you that you want to, stay grounded and you are aware of the things around you and especially the things, like especially you should have like trust in your ability and you should know where you are right now so that, okay, you know where to focus and how to focus on things to make yourself better, right?
Yeah, that's very important. The trust in your ability part is also important along with staying grounded or knowing where you are because if you don't do that, if you don't have the second part about like I have complete belief in myself, right?
Yeah.
But I know I can practically evaluate. When I'm on the table, I don't feel like I'm a bad player. On the table, I can delude myself to think I'm the best player. I
Hmm.
always think I can crush everyone, even in GG fields or India, everywhere. But off the table, I'm very pragmatic about it. Oh, okay, these are my flaws, these are my advantages. Like I said, one of the things is instinct and all that, population tendency, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that goes out of the window in international fields, right? As anyone, all of us who's played international fields, you know that this big advantage we have by playing every day with the same people and the instincts and the understanding you develop, that is out of the window. So now you have to rely completely on theory and stuff like that, like very theoretical based. So
वहां
yeah,
तो इतनी फ्रीक्वेंसीज भी नहीं पता चलती बिकॉज वहां पे सिर्फ थ्री बेटिंग विपिप और पीएफआर शायद पता चलता है और आई थिंक रिवर पे कुछ पता चलता है
yeah, yeah,
इतना कुछ नहीं पता लगता जो इंडिया में सब कुछ पता लग जाता है राइट कि भाई क्या है क्या सब कुछ पता लग जाता है
way.
बट लेट्स फोकस ऑन आर्यन द सेलिब्रिटी गाय सो
My
आर्यन टेल
celebrity?
yeah, for us you are a celebrity, definitely.
No.
I'll get back to that on that as we move further. बट क्या चल रहा है लाइफ में पोकर के अलावा क्या चल रहा है पोकर तो देखो हमें पता है पोकर यू प्ले अ लॉट बट पोकर के अलावा क्या चल रहा है
Poker के अलावा majorly travel ही चल रहा है. Like that is the other thing I really enjoy. Like majorly two things I enjoy at probably the equal level is poker and travel.
या
And like मतलब वो दोनों like they're not replaceable. They are interchangeable, but they're not replaceable. I can't do a third thing too much enthusiasm के साथ. I think it's majorly I can do like these two things are main. So travel चलता है थोड़ा थोड़ा. But I think as Aniket was saying, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, which is also bad, where I'm just traveling, not as serious sometimes, spending lots of money because travel is expensive. So a couple of maybe not the best decisions in terms of finances, but otherwise really enjoying myself. So there's that one upside. Really enjoying the game because I
या
can luckily travel and play. Like I can play online, you can travel and play anywhere. I was playing through most of my grind when I was traveling as well. So yeah, that's it.
ओके well, is there anything you guys are doing for, let's say, being physically fit or like focusing on your mindset, like it be meditation or like going to a gym? Both of you, it goes for both of you because like you both are like totally opposite. One stays in the kitchen, one keeps traveling.
किचन गलत गलत वर्ड यूज कर दिया किचन.
किचन में रहता हूँ मैं.
ठीक
Grind
है.
station.
I have an eye for detail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very revealing. Freudian
Yeah.
slip हो गया मेरे से. But yeah, no, no.
So
Clearly,
yeah.
I'm not working on my health currently.
Okay.
Since I mean, the pandemic especially it has exaggerated so much because, uh, I'll give you an example. Like, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I went out with friends, and
Mhm.
then which is unique for me. I don't go out that much. Yeah, unfortunately. बट आई वेंट आउट बिकॉज सब लोग शाम को फ्री होते हैं और अपना तो
Yeah.
मतलब आई से लेट्स मीट फॉर लंच लंच के लिए कौन मिलेगा मुंबई दोपहर में तो
Mm.
बट आई वेंट आउट एंड आई केम बैक एट 11 p.m. just and of course I didn't plan to grind but when I came home I was like let's see if there are tables going on so then I opened a couple of tables and still like max later some things and played so that has become kind of a habit, right? Like there's no point in my day where I feel like doing something else on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to learn it. But yeah, currently, like I said, the reality is that I'm not doing for physical health and all. Uh, and it has suffered quite a bit because of the since the pandemic, since I got in this habit of sitting and just being on my desktop, all the time, continuously, I mean. And the mindset thing, honestly, I've tried it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, my analysis of myself is that I don't really need that much help with the mindset. Some very
Okay.
meta things, not poker related. Like poker related mindset, I'm fine, I think. Like I don't get tilted, I don't have, I manage my expectations pretty well, that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
generally in life, surely everyone needs a good mindset and all, but I'm not doing anything actively for training that.
When you say you tried something, what did you try?
I mean, all that, what is that Eliotro app?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
game, A game masterclass, something like that.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
but
AK
I did not get the master class, but I had that app trying to do, pre-grind.
Prime
People
is
used to tell me that pre-grind,
Prime
you do a
versus another
10
app?
minute
Yeah.
listen to something, that kind of stuff to psych yourself up. But I have the confidence part and the, staying grounded part, I have it covered, I feel, in poker. So I'm not, I have not found it that useful.
cool. What about you, Aryan?
Physical health I've been doing, it's been up and down a little bit. Like I अभी चालू किया वापस जिम 3-4 हफ्ते हुए. फिर अभी
Mm-hmm.
वापस बीच में 1 हफ्ता break लिया because I wasn't feeling too well with some personal stuff. Now we're good again. We'll start going, I think today or yesterday. Like today or tomorrow, sorry, what I'm saying is. Today or tomorrow. Tomorrow तो नहीं होएगा, Sunday है, but like today or Monday we'll start. Baki mental health, I have like mental work. I haven't done too much. Back in the day, I used to do this exact same app that he said. Like either I think it was Primed only. What you said
Primed
is
mind,
Primed,
yeah, primed
Primed
Yeah,
Mind.
mind,
Yeah,
Prime Mind. Yeah.
something, yeah.
it was with Fedor and all of them, right? So
Yeah.
they used to have those 15-minute guided meditations, just pre-grind, and then 15-minute cool down, post-grind and stuff. I used to do it. I personally didn't find a big impact
Mm-hmm.
because I also think that my mindset in the game is decent. I won't say it's perfect. Obviously, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I will say it's decent to good in the sense that I don't face tilt issues. I don't make decisions based on tilt or like me not feeling something, me feeling a certain way generally. So in the game it's pretty okay. And generally my like emotional swing throughout the day or throughout the game also is very low. Like I don't feel an emotional up or down too much in the game. At least in the game I'll say. So that way I've not felt so much of a need for it, but I definitely want to look into it because there are too many good players who've spoken very highly of it. So I need to definitely, I mean, obviously, a little young to realize the value of that right now, but soon, hopefully.
Probably, I think it would be best for players who are playing, really, really high stakes,
Yeah,
because that
possibly that too.
is when it can affect your life.
That's when the
Like,
swings are big as well, right? That's when
yeah,
you're feeling each swing.
and yeah, when
But
you're
I do feel
competing.
like whatever stakes you play, anyways, as poker players, if you are very swingy, you still feel it. Like, let's say some guy playing 50, 100 also will feel the same thing because in terms of his bankroll, it will be, it will be as a percentage, it will be the same thing, I feel. So everyone needs it. I feel like even high stakes or like if you cannot manage your emotional balance while playing, if you get tilted and if it affects your judgment, then of course you should look into it. And if that is a problem, then yeah, for sure.
आई थिंक देखो, पोकर में सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम सेल्फ डाउट रहता है, जहां तक मैंने फेस करा है जो चीज, फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम सेल्फ डाउट इज द प्रॉब्लम जब रिजल्ट्स नहीं आते हैं. क्योंकि जब रिजल्ट्स आ रहे हैं ना, तब वी डोंट थिंक अबाउट ओके यार, हम तो बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर हैं, वी आर द बेस्ट, नो बडी कैन बीट अस, राइट. बट जब रिजल्ट नहीं आते ना, जब सेल्फ डाउट आता है
Yeah.
कि हाँ देखो, एक पैसे का जाना तो ठीक है, वो पोकर प्लेयर्स नो कि हाँ यार
Yeah,
पोकर हार सकते हैं. बट इट्स अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट व्हेन यू रियलाइज दैट yeah, am I good enough to play? When you're a poker player for a full time and you're asking yourself, am I a good player to play at these stakes? you know and that is the self doubts, the self fights we face. And for those times, I think these apps are the best. Or if you have a mentor that can tell you, no, no, don't worry about things, this is a long term game. Because look, it happened with me. I'll tell you, I'll be very honest. I was in PG at that time, and I was in my highest MU. Right, I was about my 8 lakhs MU. I was an 8 lakh MU, and I was not sure. And I was playing high stake. I was playing whatever there was available. I was playing that, right, and that came after my SHR win. right? I won 33 lakhs or something. So I was high in
Mm.
confidence that, I can play anything. And my game was nowhere close to what it should be playing at the highest stake, like playing 44,000 rupees tournament. You need to be really good at it, right? Because most of the times you're going to have one or two bad players on your table, and four of them are going to be really good players. And it is a six max game. So you'll be playing more flops. You'll be seeing more flops
Yeah,
and you'll be playing more hands, right? So I actually messaged Karthik about it. I am not sure, if I am playing the right stakes or if I am playing the right way or am I doing mistakes or something, right? And my hand histories were fine. I had good coaches. I think I had Ashish Manod who was looking after me at that time, and Karthik was, as we know, there. So I messaged him. I wrote him a very long message about it, and he guided me in a really nice way. And I think that is really important to have a mentor in life where you can share about the problems or the doubts that you have. What do you call, वो क्या चीज है मेरे को, even I don't know the right way to say it, the ghost in your wardrobe or something.
Skeleton
uh,
under your bed or something. Skeleton in
हाँ,
your
वो
closet
skeleton in
or
your bed,
whatever.
वही वाला, देखो मेरे को पता नहीं था, मेरे को बनाना पड़ा.
A ghost
तो
is
वो चीज
better.
है. हाँ, तो वो चीज किसी को बता पाना और confidently bata pana is very important. Like, even if you don't have these apps, you have your friend, one friend that you trust, or one coach, one mentor that you can share about what you are feeling right now. All right, that is, I think, the most important part. I know physical, going to a gym, being physically active is important. Being,
Yeah.
mentally fit is also very important. But having the right kind of person or a right kind of people around you is the most important thing when we are playing this game. Right, this game is not easy for light-hearted people. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so you need to have that kind of a person in your life that you can share, because we can't share these things with our parents, right? Even I can't share these things with my brother, right, who's a 7 years older to me, because he won't understand it. That is the thing. He doesn't understand, like, even I'm playing it for like so many years, he doesn't understand it, right? So you
it's
need the right kind of people around you.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, well, moving on to the next question. थोड़ा सा सिमिलर ही है जो अभी पूछा था, कि अभी का शेड्यूल क्या है अनिकेत? लाइक, दिस इज वेरी इजी फॉर यू. ओके,
Yeah, I
व्हाट
already said
यू
also, but okay. Yeah.
you wake up.
See, I wake up.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, since like a month or two, I've got my diet on point, so that's a
Nice.
good thing. But the next step, what happened is, after the lockdown, for
Mm-hmm.
1 year, like I said, I was sitting on my desk, right? So I've
Yeah.
developed this long-term physio issues in my shoulder now. So I can't even
Okay.
go to the gym. So the physio, I was doing a month of physio last month and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the physio said that slowly you have to get in. So even that I cannot do. But yeah, you're sorry. You were asking about the schedule, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
we,
it's
we we like when you share other things also. We like it. We don't cut
yeah.
it.
But I cut everything that makes me look bad. But
Have to cut Aryan out of the podcast.
oh my God.
why me?
Oh my God.
No, he said cut everything that makes me look bad. No.
Ah, okay. So yeah, actually it was a compliment for you, Aryan, that you're so good
Yeah.
that with you everyone looks bad. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why this flattery?
yeah. I saved you, Akshay. I saved you.
Thank you. I have a habit of creating problems for myself.
चेक रेस कर दिया तुमने फोकट का.
ये तो लकीली फोल्ड कर दिया यहाँ पे.
All right, all right, all right. Like, so yeah, you wake up, Aniket. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I wake up, I have my first meal, and then I open GTO Wizard or watch a video, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
or talk to my friends. A couple of friends I talk to just regarding poker, of course, and then by the evening, again at 7:30, I'll start my grind. So beach mein I take some time off from, like, I'm not studying for 4 hours, of course,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple of hours at most, and then I'm just lazing around till the grind gets there, and then the grind starts, and after the grind, I go to sleep. That's all. I mean, one of the things is, I don't know, maybe both of you do this, is which most of my friends do who are trying to get better, is that post grind, everyone reviews their hands nowadays. They go through the histories and run some spots. Like if you run deep, then you run HRC spots, stuff like that. But I have
Mm-hmm.
not got into the habit of that. Like grind khatam ho gaya, to I am in a state where I don't want to do anything with poker basically somehow. and then next day I'm fine with it. But post grind, then I don't do anything. Now recently I've got in the habit of reading. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I've read a couple of books this year, which I want to get back to. So I read before going to sleep, or listen to an audio book, stuff like that, and then go to sleep. Yeah,
No,
that's
I
pretty
don't.
much about it.
Yeah, I don't review my hands the same night. I do it in the next morning when I'm all fresh and all. But like if you know
Yeah.
if I'm not tired or if I'm not sleepy after the grind, I'll probably play like Valorant or something, maybe like a game or two, um,
Uh,
and then just go to sleep. What about you, Aaron?
So, Mira, I think this month has been a little swingy with my schedule. So, my
Mhm.
general schedule earlier during the NPS especially was like I sleep by like 9:10 a.m., which is pretty late, right? So the only one thing that was happening was when I sleep by 9 a.m., then I do exactly as he said, right? You study in the night after the grind, just run through
Mhm.
some hands. I don't go too deep into the hands like the GTO Wiz and all. I didn't go too much into because again, NPS, the game style was like not. I mean, I didn't need to really study theory, so I would actually have more review sessions with friends and stuff. So like a
Mhm.
couple of like us poker friends would get together and study that. Abhi Filal, it's become more to what more the way Akshay said. Like, I sleep off by like 4, 5 a.m. Wake up, I study in the afternoons.
Yeah.
That was still last week. This week I've been off the game, off the grind, off the everything. I've just been basically taking it very light. Going out most of the nights, not playing anything except the moneymaker
Mhm.
off my
oh,
phone.
right.
So just like basically relaxing myself out. Moneymaker, they're giving you a free ticket every day and stuff like that. So taking that. But yeah, just been way more relaxed this 1 week. We get back to the
Yeah.
grind. I think probably post Sunday or something.
Okay. Well, it's understandable because NPS was really, and you were playing every day for NPS, I think, right?
It's not understandable. It's me as a person. I just have
No,
that
but
along.
NPS was brutal. Like if you're grinding the whole
NPS is
schedule, it
definitely
was
brutal,
You were
yeah.
but
playing every day, right, Aaron, for
but
NPS?
एनपीएस के बाद भी तो छुट्टी लिया ना 4-5 दिन
ठीक
एक
है ब्रो,
हफ्ता लिया
एनपीएस में
practically.
अच्छा स्कोर भी
वो
तो
तो
करा ना
बनता है
एनपीएस।
बट यार
हाँ बनता है, वो तो क्लियर
लाइक
बनता है।
इन द होल
Yeah,
And especially when there is no series going on, right?
yeah,
Only
yeah.
there's money
It's
maker which
just
is
the money
happening.
maker, which is why I'm able to play that. So I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, May is gonna be exciting for you guys. Don't worry. May there
ah
is a big series coming up for you.
the
Uh,
problem is that like one series ends, there's always
especially,
something else, like Bazi also doesn't let us rest. NPS खत्म हो गया, money maker पूरा महीना वाला money maker शुरू कर दिया. So
And अभी I
obviously
but
think
then
कुछ
you
और planned है.
trust me, Aniket, you're gonna like the May because what I've heard from my rumors is that your favorite site is bringing a really big series. Okay,
all right.
don't ask me which website is that, which tournaments they bring, what series they're bringing, but it is your favorite site that you won 3 millionaires on, right? Let's put it there.
नटवाडु मेला.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Oh,
yeah,
that's good to know actually, man, because
yeah.
we need
It's been
more
dead for
activity in our
I guess.
ecosystem, man. Like it seems like it's the only basic stuff is available for us right now. Like at most at night you can play 6, 7 tourneys, and most of it is Bazi.
Yeah, most
And
of
we need
I'm
good
not saying
competition for Bazi also, and just to keep the volume flowing for professionals and recreationals also. So it's good if you're saying something's
yeah.
coming, then that's great to know.
Something's big coming, not just big. Something's big coming. Yeah.
I mean, I saw some Insta post like coming soon or something, but did not look into details. So, yeah.
May, June is what I've heard.
All
I
right,
can tell you that, yeah. But these are
that's good.
from some
That's good.
far off rumors, not verified yet, but most of my news is always right. Coming on to the next question, we'll start with Aryan this time. How old are you, Aryan? Just this is not the part of the question, but how old are
हाँ,
you?
I just turned 25.
25. So you're pretty young, but I'll still ask you this: that if you can go back couple of years, what advice would you give to yourself?
Rush growth, like don't try to like grow maximally because what happens is when it doesn't work out, you get hit hard, which kind of happened with me with like playing live and stuff. I didn't realize very early on that I was not ready for the live games. There were bigger buy-ins obviously than online. Online you could grind way more tournaments in the same buy-in. Like live if you're playing say a 50K. In online that's like 10 of your like average buy-ins, 10 average buy-ins of 5K, which is
Yeah.
really more, which will make you more money than 150K buy-in in the main event. So like
Yep.
these kind of things, and I mean I'm all for playing it and enjoying yourself, but just know when you're ready, when you're not. Which back then you obviously didn't know. You just like saw a game, you were excited to play. This is so cool. All your friends are playing it. Obviously you should play it. Now it's like
Yeah.
okay, all my friends are playing it, but you don't know their bankrolls. You don't know how comfortable they are with their game. You don't know how they're running. They may be on an upswing and they may be like really growing their bankroll hard. And then you
Yeah.
need to see your current condition. Maybe you're not doing as well in the game. You're not studying as hard, which is actually happening with me right now a little bit. Like I'm not studying as hard, which is why I'm not upstaking right now because like even if I have the bankroll, I there's no point of burning the money. You rather just let the bankroll be because if you're not ready for the game, you're not ready for the game. And it does get
Yeah.
tempting, where you're like, oh wow, all like everyone I know is playing the 11Ks. Everyone I know is playing the whatever 15Ks on Bazi and stuff. I'm skipping
Mhm.
probably almost all the 15Ks right now because I'm just not playing my game. So like basically realizing where your edge lies, and that took me a very long while. Now it's kind of coming to me a little more where I'm just looking at tournament and going like, yeah, okay, you want to play this for your like ego boost, that's one side, but does it actually make sense financially? No. Obviously, if it's a small enough decision where you still want to have fun, like even probably traveling for a live tournament, if you want to play one or two tournaments, have fun, meet everyone, go for it by all means. But understand that's not where your edge lies currently.
Yeah.
So then don't basically go mad and like probably go ape shit and go play like probably 200, 300K, 400K in binds out there because it's not where your edge lies currently. So something like that.
Definitely. I think it has happened with everyone. Of all of us, right? We are playing the highest stakes, whether it be live or online. It has happened with me for sure. Both, like I was playing higher stakes in online and live, where I kind of knew that I wasn't too good, but then I was like, like fuck it,
The
let's
temptation is
play.
always there.
हाँ
Yeah.
मतलब मैं एसएचआर खेला हूँ ये अपना स्पार्टन का जो मैं जीता था 1 लाख का बाइन डू यू
Yeah.
गाइस थिंक
Okay.
आई एम गुड इनफ टू प्ले 1 लाख टूर्नामेंट कब लाइक आई नेवर थॉट कि भाई 1 लाख का टूर्नामेंट खेलना है एंड ऑल दैट
You
स्टफ
are
राइट
though. I mean,
अरे नहीं ब्रो यू आर रहने दो
I do agree.
नो
Like with the way the current field is and all, you probably are ready for it. But at the same time, that's what I'm saying. It's like a combination of factors. Are you feeling your A game today? Are you ready to like take the swing while playing 8 other tables on the side? Are you
या
willing to give up otherwise on 8 tables and like focus only on one SHR? It's like a couple of different like things that like play into the fact that does it make sense to do it today this time? It's not always whether you're not
yeah,
ready for the tournament. I
yeah.
think I'm ready to play like a 15K on a live field for sure. But it's like,
या
am I ready today, right now? Am I in the mind frame to grind that like 12-hour grind is going to be 12 p.m. चालू होएगा 1-2 बजे रात को end होएगा. Well, and
या
that's just day one. Then day two is tomorrow again. Are you
या
mentally and physically in the mood to do that? If you're not, then there's no point to go burn 15K. Just go out with your friends for lunch. It'll definitely be cheaper. You'll still have the same amount of fun.
Yeah, and it's not necessary, if your friends are playing higher binds, if they are doing the mistakes, you want to do the same mistakes. It might not be a
Yeah,
mistake for them because of their current situation, but it is
that's just it.
definitely a mistake for you.
It's
So
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
everyone's couple of things are like flowing. It's like their bankrolls are, you have to see their current edge, you have to see their current swing, you have to see how much effort they're currently putting in, all of those things. While at the same time, you have to see what you're doing, like your bankroll, how you're playing currently, how your mental state has been currently, like everything, like it's multiple things. It's not like one exact thing, like just skill or just bankroll, but
Yeah,
it's like everything together is whether you should be playing, decides whether you should or should not be playing.
Yeah. It's a great
And
point actually, but and it's
great.
also very tough to be honest with yourself though regarding these things, because
Yeah,
what I have found is things like self-belief and ambition, which are the positive traits, also have this side effect of this negative trait of ego. So when you have that, uh, unless you learn to actively manage it somehow, it's very easy to lie to yourself. Ki, I have to do it, and it's generally a good
yeah,
thing in life, but in poker, it can ruin you, quite a lot. And we've
definitely.
seen it with a lot of people, right?
It happens, it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
it has happened with me. It's just a negative side of the same coin. It's just ambition or self-belief, whatever it is, which makes you good. It's a good thing, but then this other side is there which you have to learn. The other thing which Aryan was talking about, like, not chasing fast growth. That
yep.
also I feel like in me, I see it like a bad relationship with success and failure. Like somehow I have this tendency, and I see a lot of players who have this tendency, and generally these players are what we would say lag in poker, right? Uh,
Hmm.
those tendencies come in the play also in the microcosm of poker, but in the macro of life also you see that you want to succeed quickly somehow, you know
Yep.
like that's why you play the higher band. You think, oh, I'll bink it, I'll increase my bankroll tenfold. I am good
Yep.
enough to play with the best. But then learning to have a good relationship there, okay, the success will come, but only slowly, and it will only come when you earn it through a. It will take time, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like it's not a sprint, right? So it's a
Yeah,
marathon, and you just have to keep doing it day in and day out.
yeah,
Well, that kind of brings my attention to my next question. So you guys show up every day, right? No matter if there's a big series or a small tournament.
yeah.
What brings back to you for the game? गेम से मतलब इतना प्यार क्यों है और कैसे है? ये मेन बात है कि गेम से देखो डेफिनेटली प्यार है। कितना मतलब इतना प्यार कैसे है और क्यों है? क्योंकि देखो रोज लाइक अनिकेत आर्यन लेट्स से आर्यन टेकिंग अ ब्रेक फॉर अ वीक और सो बट ही इज देयर एवरी डे राइट अनिकेत यू आर देयर एवरी डे इट
Yeah.
डजंट मैटर व्हाट द बाइन ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट इज कि मतलब क्या है जो बार बार ये गेम आप लोगों को वापस बुलाती है लाइक व्हाट ब्रिंग्स यू बैक
See, this is not I've thought about this. Like I
yep
told you, that day I came back at 11 and I played two tables. And on the
mm-hmm.
surface, it seems like, oh, he loves the game and it's fine. But
yep
the more I thought about it, I thought it's not a good tendency, it's not a good habit that I did that. It shows that,
mm-hmm.
it has become kind of a routine. So you have to differentiate between the two also, I feel. Like the love for the game, but also are you really is it love for the game or is it like it has some underlying issue also? So that also you have to be careful about. But generally, like if you're a winning player, you love it generally. It's a good right for me. It has become a really good experience. I love I was talking about in the initial, like we were talking about at the start, where a couple of years ago, I was always, harrowing about, shit, man, did I do the right play? Or I could understand that I'm not good enough. These great players are backhand slapping me all the time. And
yep
now, over the years, I've gone to a stage where in India, if I play, it's a pleasant experience. Even if I lose, I like the solving the spot when I'm in a spot and solving it. That it's amazing to me. It's like a problem solving thing, which I'm an engineer, so I have that kind of mindset of I see something and then I want to solve it. I want to take steps to solve it. And in sport, it's so enjoyable that way. But again, like I said, if you want to be great at poker, then you cannot just be playing, which I'm doing right now. I'm just playing and learning to play, and there is some progress there because I do it so continuously and every day. I do it with a lot of focus also. So,
yep
but you have to make sure to take time off the table, put time off even what Aryan's doing with travel, like he loves something else, he does that also.
yep
And you have to study off the table. Like if you are someone who plays every day, but you're not studying every day, I would say it's a bad kind of tendency to have. Because then it's not necessary that you love the game. Maybe it's become a habit, maybe it's something, it's like, I play Minecraft sometimes, but when I get
yep
into it, I play every day, like 6 hours I play Minecraft, doesn't matter to me. But
mm-hmm.
it's like you have to balance it out kind of. Yeah, you have to think through what you're actually doing. Is it just a routine for you? Are you really enjoying the whole process, which includes studying?
yep like you have to enjoy the journey right like let's say you have a goal right you reach at a goal by sitting at home for like let's say 1,000 days right
Yeah,
you've reached the goal you've achieved whatever the goal that you had but what is the point of it if you did not enjoy it right
yeah,
if you did not
exactly.
do the things that you like it could be reading it could be traveling it could be like cooking it could be anything what's the point of that because you never know like let's say you've reached that point right you never know what's going to happen the next day after that goal that you've reached and you
Yeah,
just sacrificed all your life for that one goal
yeah,
right and did not do things that you enjoyed right or you wanted to explore
yeah, exactly. I
so
mean,
yeah
what you want in life to figure that out is actually very tough. I mean, even with poker, the more I think about it, it's like it gets very conflated and confusing. Like it's very easy to lie to yourself because poker involves money, and that is
yeah
one of the things which everybody wants nowadays. So are you really like, if you consider a thought experiment where let's say you have $1 billion, then will you
hmm.
next day be sitting at GTO Wizard and looking at sims and playing tourneys? There's a lot of people who will not. I even don't know if I will. Like I'm at least that honest, but still, like I don't know for sure that answer. Where is it like? what is love for the game, right? Like if you have all the money in the world, will you still be doing poker, or will you move towards something else? Like if you look at Jungle Man, for example, he's
Mm,
great at the game and he plays a lot, and he, for all intents and purposes, loves the game, right? But now he's
yeah.
reached a certain stage of his life. You see that he doesn't grind every day. He's not doing that.
Mm,
Like he's found some things which he really likes doing. Like he does a lot of charity work and stuff like that,
yeah.
humanitarian stuff. So, you really don't know with poker because this money aspect is involved, which is such a basic need of ours that it you can easily lie to yourself with that.
I
But
think
yeah,
probably 1% of the players will have that ki haan, doesn't matter how much money it comes. I will
yeah,
be on GTO visit every day. Like probably if you talk about Jason Kuhn, Steven Chidwick, right? Those are the
yeah,
guys,
exactly. Yeah,
those people have the money, but they are still showing up to be a better player. They are sitting on the GTO visit. It doesn't mean like, they don't have money to do different kinds of businesses and all. And it's not about you need to have the right skill set. When you have the money, you can buy the right skill set to run a business, right?
yeah,
But it is that 1%, because I even have told myself, okay, when I make this amount of money, I'll play poker, but I'll play recreationally, I'll not play
yeah,
professionally. I have set up that number in my head,
yeah,
because I mean, I enjoy the game a lot, but to be able to do it every day, and to be on the system every day, looking at the GTO visit and then getting bad beat by some 9-4 off, from UTG, I don't want to go through that pain, that like when I'm, let's say, 45, 48, or let's say even 35, 37, I am doing, when I have a family, I'm doing this every day,
yeah,
I want to put my focus somewhere else also, because that would take my energy, my time, and all that stuff, right? Because it's not easy when people are doing it when they have a kid, when they have a wife, because both of them demands time, energy, effort,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right now, like I'm 28, turning 29 next week. Aran is 25. I don't know how old Aniket
I'm
is, but right,
31, 31.
31, right? So we are still young and we don't have that much responsibility on our shoulders about, taking care of other people other than our parents,
Yeah,
right? So वो हो जाता है. But जब कोई life में आ जाएगा and you are like, okay, I've made about, let's say, 30 crores, which is a lot in India, I would say, right? 30 भी नहीं, 10 भी बहुत है. 10 में भी इंटरेस्ट रेट बहुत अच्छा आता है इंडिया में.
yeah,
तो उसके बाद दोबारा ये चीज करना रोज, मतलब मेरे को मैं ये नहीं कह रहा मैं खेलूंगा नहीं, मैं खेलूंगा भाई, मैं खेलूंगा, लेकिन मेरे को इतना शायद मैं ना पढूं, क्योंकि देन इवन इफ आई लूज दैट वोंट अफेक्ट माय लाइफस्टाइल, राइट? आई विल
yeah,
बिकम अ वेल ऑफ द गेम, राइट? विल
yeah.
पर्किंस हो जाऊंगा मैं, अभी भी वेल हूं, बट आई विल स्टिल बी आई विल बी अ
I
बिगर
mean, you
वेल.
will not become a whale, but yeah, like you said, right? It's just two different things. Like whether you want to be the best poker player of all time, or whether you want to use poker as a platform to get rich and then move on to do something which you will like even more. Like it's not fixed or anything, but that you will evaluate. Like you said, right? You have a number
Yeah,
in your mind where you understand that, okay, if I reach this number realistically, am I going to be worrying about what this spot is and all that. And it's not a bad thing, actually. I heard Fedor also talk about this, where poker can be a great lifestyle career. You can play
yeah,
4 days a week, study a little bit, and still crush in India, for example. And you don't need
yeah,
to be buried into solvers and stuff. And you have a great life. 3 days a week you enjoy, you take some weeks off to travel, stuff like that. It can be a great lifestyle, but it's very tough to figure it out whether you want it for that or this. Because when you're up and coming, you're ambitious. You
yeah.
don't want to confess to yourself, "Hey, man, this is just a means to an end. I really am not." If you say this to yourself, then it makes your resolve less. Your ambition, it becomes less because you want to
Less
keep
important.
deluding yourself. No,
Yeah,
no, I want to be the best poker player of all time. I
yeah,
like even after saying this out loud, I can go
yeah.
back to thinking that I just want to be the best poker player of all time as
Now
we
I'm a
speak.
little scared because I keep telling myself that
What?
haven't I want to be the best poker player. Like my
No, but it's
so
good, I feel. It's
It's good, bro.
sometimes
Like,
good
but
to keep deluding yourself because if you know the end, sometimes you don't take the first step. A lot of these business guys always say, "Ki, if I knew it was this stuff, then I wouldn't even start."
hmm.
But the whole point is that it's good to not know sometimes and just learn on the way. And whatever some bad decisions you take, it's fine. You learn from that and stuff like that. So it's sometimes good. Like even me thinking this, I don't like it that I have this thought that oh, let me be honest, let me reflect. I don't even want this thought, but now it's there, so I'm saying it, you know.
I was just having this discussion with someone. They're like, the more you can be self-aware with yourself, the more you're going to find out stuff that isn't so great.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
it's a two-sided thing. It's like even being rational, logical is like, sometimes your peace of mind goes away. It's like just because you're so rational, so logical with so many things, there's no peace because you're not really like always optimistic. You're not pessimistic either, but you're not either optimistic. You're just
Yeah,
very like okay,
you're
these are the
realistic, you
this is,
become
yeah,
realistic, which is a horrible thing actually.
which
Yeah.
actually like really kills the peace and like that excitement and joy and sometimes all that. And it's the same with like self-realization. When you're like so self-aware and you're like really like, oh, I'm going to be very honest to myself, it kind of makes it look like, oh, am I that person? I did
Yeah,
not know.
you don't want to be something, and but if you are really, you know, but the good, I am very comfortable talking about this because I figured I've had this conversation before, like with
Mhm.
myself also, with my friends also, and I've
Yep.
realized that I am, you know, I can somehow switch it off, you know, I can forget that I have had this thought, and then when I'm studying, when I'm playing, it's all about, you know, I want to be the best kind of. So I'm that way I'm comfortable, but still, I wish I had never even thought about this kind of. Is it really poker? Poker is my life goal or no? That thought shouldn't have come only, basically.
Yep, that is true. I think it happened with me also. As in when I was at 25, 26, I want to I was probably like 22, 23, back in Australia when I told myself I want to be the best poker player. I did not know anything about Indian poker at that time. I was not playing in India. There was this one article that I think Poker Guru posted about me that I came 27th in the WSOP main circuit event, right?
Oh, really?
This was
Wow.
in Australia and I was not aware of it. I was not aware of about Poker Guru. I was not aware about anything poker related in India, right? And then some Aussie guy told me that he has seen my photo in some Indian post,
That's sick.
right? This is in 2022 I'm talking about, right? And at that time I was pretty sure that I was exploring options who to hire as my coach because I wanted to be the best. What software is there and how can I improve my game and all that stuff. I was doing that, right? But as I've played poker for I probably played poker for, like, I mean, 4 years after that. I'm 28 now. These thoughts come in. Is this my end goal, to be the best poker player, right? So these thoughts do come in mind, but when I sit on my poker table, I just
Yeah,
back myself to be better than my opponents, right? Even if I know that this opponent is better than me, then I do something that kind of nullifies their edge, right? So if, let's say, if I'm playing with, let's say, Ashish or Gaurav or anyone, right? I know they are better players than me, obviously, but then I know how to nullify their edge is right then, because I know that, okay, this is one spot that they will play like this or they will expect me to play like that, right? But then I don't play that spot, right? And I'm not saying I'm kind of what do you call, what is that word, yeah?
नेट बोल
When
रहे हो
you
क्या
go out,
खुद को?
I
Outsmarting.
didn't नहीं outsmarting them, like when you are exploiting your opponent, right? I'm not exploiting them, right?
Hmm.
Exploitative,
I'm
you mean? Yeah, okay.
like, I'm not exploiting them, right? I know that, okay, they think about this spot in one particular way. I will not play that
In
way.
that way, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
because if I play like that, they expect me to be, to play in that way, and they'll play better than me, right?
Right.
Whereas if I'm playing some other guy, then I'll play accordingly, right? I know the GTO guidelines, like the bottom line of that, and then it is up to me on how to play and how to at least increase my edge or nullify if I am, if they have an edge over me. Alrighty, back to the next.
By the way, I'll just add one
Mhm.
thing. It's fine, right?
Aran?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, bolo, bolo,
yeah,
bolo,
yeah. Just
definitely.
this, what we're talking about regarding,
Yeah.
being self-aware and then it hampers your
Mhm.
drive sometimes. I would say one
Yeah.
thing which, if someone is going through it, which I felt was helpful, is that I understood that, like, we are living our life, so the end goal, we should, like, whatever we are in now, that should be what drives us. Like, it doesn't matter if 10 years down the line I don't want to do poker, for example, right? But
Yep.
you shouldn't even think about it. Like, it's fine, it's a good big goal, but if you're in it, right, you're in this thing, like, you decided to get fit, if you decided to become a professional, so, like, let's say if you decided to get very fit and you join a gym, but you know that when you're 40, 50, you want to live a lavish lifestyle. You don't want to care about calories and stuff like that. But doesn't matter because what you're living your life right now. So you just go through the process of achieving that one. Look at it like a mini goal, kind of, and
Yeah,
then just give all your everything you have for that mini goal, kind of, even if it
yes,
is not your big goal.
It's like the step
definitely.
system, like one step,
It's
then
a,
next
yeah,
step, next step, next
Yeah.
step.
Yeah, what's wrong is thinking, oh, I don't want to do this 10 years down the line. Why bother doing it now also,
Now,
right? Like
yeah,
that
yeah, I
is
agree.
the pitfall you don't want
that
to
is
fall in. Yeah.
that is like a really bad position, and you don't want to be there for sure. Well, let's move on to the next segment of the podcast, where we basically wants to know, like Instagram wants to know, the fans or the friends that follow me on Instagram has put up these two questions that I'm gonna ask you two, and this is coming from really good poker players actually. Aditya Constantine wants to ask you
Hmm.
this. Right, he's a really good player, huh? So he wants to know what is your poker dream. We'll start with Aryan first because I've asked Aniket a lot. Let's
Yeah.
go with Aryan first. What is your poker dream? Actual poker dream.
I think इसका आंसर मैं already दिया थोड़ा break में. It's basically
Uh-huh.
it's the two things I love. I want to combine them probably into one. It's poker and travel.
And traveling.
Which is probably why, even though I know that, sometimes live poker, I do not have an edge. I should not be in those games. It's like I still don't mind playing some of them, like smaller buy-ins,
Yep.
probably more, because I'm like, the experience of doing it all together is what I actually love. And
Yep.
like, or even traveling and playing, like even traveling and playing online, which I did right now with the US and Canada. It's something I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love doing. So it's basically like my poker dream is like merging poker and travel into one, and
Yep.
basically like going for a different life stops all over, like probably the next 5 7 years. Obviously not right now because too many life stops to cover all over the US circuit,
Got it.
Australian circuit, all of that. But
Yep.
probably that, and the other thing is obviously keep grinding online when I'm traveling as well. So like probably do like 3 months in Indonesia, 3 months in Thailand, 3 months in Vietnam, all of that. Stay there, enjoy
Hmm.
your life out there, explore a new lifestyle while still grinding online.
Like, see, I'll tell you one thing. I've traveled to few places, and I used to be a live player only. I
Yeah,
never used to play on. Yeah, I never used to play online. Right, when I was in Australia, I only played live because there were games there. Right, there are
yeah,
$10 games, $20 games, everything right there. So one advice I would give you, like, see, the when we talk about edge, you go to any Asians, any Asian place, right? You will have an edge, right? The main thing about live poker is the bankroll, right? Because the games
yeah,
are
for sure.
higher, the buy-ins are higher, and obviously the overheads are expensive, right? Even if you go to, like, let's say Cambodia or Hanoi, the overheads are expensive, the flights, the hotels, and everything, right? So make sure that when like what I see your end goal is to travel and play poker, right? So right now we are in a position that we are kind of like saving in a mode so that we can do it in the next 4 5 years. Is like have a decent bankroll, and if you don't have a decent bankroll, sell 10 20 30% whatever you want to, right? So that you get to do what you love, and
Yeah,
then your bankroll, and you're playing in a safe position, like in a safe environment where you can just enjoy and
you're not
play
messing
the
around
best
with your role,
of.
basically.
Yeah, like it's not. I don't think it's like when we don't go to Europe, right? Even the US fields are softer. Even the Asian fields
The
are softer. Like if
WSOP
you're
fields
playing,
actually in Vegas are supposed to be really soft because it's recreational heavy. But it's
yeah,
such
I'm
a big
telling you,
swing that it's like it honestly doesn't matter how soft it is when the swing is that big if you don't have the roll for it.
yeah, like it is one of the softest 10Ks out there, right?
Yeah, the WSOP main event.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need to have a bankroll for it, right? Or you need to sell a really good portion of it. And that is about it. It's like when you talk about edges, the edges do come in play when you are going to play in Europe, right? Because there you'll play versus a lot of online
Online rec.
regs where who are
Yeah.
stuck, yeah, who are playing every day online as well. But if you go to Asia and all that, they are not playing that much. The 90% of the field is recreational there,
Okay.
right? So when you see out the Instagram videos and all, it is how they are, right? And you
I still
just
haven't played the
need
Asian
to.
circuit. I still haven't tried it. I
Yeah,
have
but
to
like
have it.
anyone who has gone to any of the Asian circuits, and I'm not promoting that the games are very soft out there and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Just back yourself with the finances. You will always have an edge there because people
The
are
games
not
are more
aware of it, and
recreational
we
heavy.
and we are playing every day versus really good players, and we are studying ICM and all that stuff. That all goes into dustbin when you go there.
I've watched a
Wow.
few
Actual true,
streams, so that's what my
actual
knowledge
player.
comes.
Yeah, actual truth about it. What about you, Aniket? What is your poker dream?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, like right now I'm in this, so my what drives me is just to become the best I can. And
Mm-hmm.
what Aryan said also is very enticing to me of because this is one of the careers which affords us to, we can just, it's part of the career only, like just being a professional of traveling, seeing new places, spending a month in some different city, that kind of stuff. I would really like to do it over the next couple of years, play live
Yeah.
events and get that experience in with poker because one side of poker is we're sitting in a dimly lit room and looking at a screen, but the other side is so beautiful also, right? Like I am yet to explore it. I'm really, I want to. So that is one of the things, like a mini thing within the big picture of trying to. I mean, I look at poker like I want to solve the game, kind of, that kind of drives me. I mean, I know it's not possible, but I look at the game like that. Oh, I want to be at a place where I want to figure out that every spot I know the answer to, kind of on my own. So that's what drives me and the day to day. Like, so that's
I
about
think
it.
we I think we all three are struggling actors right now, and we are waiting for to be successful so that we can just go and enjoy the luxury life that the
Yeah,
poker has or is shown in the movies.
I think the way he said
Uh,
it is pretty cool actually. So like
yeah.
he said like for me it's online is the exact same. Online I'm very keen on like I want to know what to do. I want to know I want to play like a better game. I want to like play that. And then when I go live, my goal is totally different. It's like I want to meet new people, have fun,
Hmm.
play good live poker, enjoy the live atmosphere, which is a whole different like ball game which
yeah,
we don't ever experience online. And at the
Yeah.
same time try to still make decent poker decisions which should be hopefully okay with like softer fields to get you through. But the idea is mainly to have fun, network, meet new people, meet more people in the poker industry because again, new avenues in life open up, right? With poker, like you meet more
Yep.
people. Probably they're really good crushers online. You never end up speaking to them, but now you meet them in live. You all have just a good connect. You end up studying with them. Your online game grows. It's just like a
Yeah.
couple of
yeah,
different variables that, like, if you mix and match, it can become very good also. Like even it can help both sides.
And it changes your whole perspective of the game. Like, trust me, I met Michael Souza last year, right? And through that, I got into APT commentary, right? So from one thing to the other, right? I met Victor and Michael, and I was like offered a commentary gig for APT, which I did, right? And it
you
also
did a
like it's
great job,
also,
by the way, there. Yeah,
bro, I did not do a great job. I never got a second call for
that
it.
doesn't mean anything, man. Come on, I
That
watched
is life. I
everything
mean,
you
that's what
did.
I'm saying. It's like variance. हम एसेंस
Yeah.
घुसा देते हैं वो तो अपन ने सही किया.
But
Exactly.
I'm happy. Like I'm happy. Like Michael Soiza, I used to idolize him. Right when I was in 2022, 23, when he was playing, used to idolize him.
Yeah,
Bro, I am telling you, in Cambodia when I was there, I had dinner with him 5 times, 5 days, 5 dinners. Right.
that's pretty nice.
I was sitting like literally next to me.
That's
So
damn
I was
cool.
like we were chatting and all that stuff. And even I've met like what is his name, the Triton main event winner, Rabik, Josh McKelly.
Yeah,
I've even offered Josh to come on podcast as well. I even asked Soiza. Right, so like it's kind of like meeting new people, opening up new avenues, right? Meeting your idols, and it just changes the whole perspective of the game to you, right? It is not just about you sitting in front of the computer. It's about you interacting with new individuals and building onto that, whether it be poker or outside poker. So
yeah.
yeah.
One very
Well,
short story, if I can add.
yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure.
So actually, last year, हम लोग को like someone basically two people couldn't make it for the poker league, Asian Poker League that we had gone for in Hong Kong
Oh
last
yeah,
year. So
yeah,
we got called for it, and it was a very short trip, and it was going to Hong Kong basically in 12 hours. So the flights are expensive, everything's expensive, right? When you're flying in like 12 hours.
yep,
12:30 in the night, I got a call, and I booked a flight for 9 a.m. to go to Hong Kong.
Wow.
okay,
So it was a really crazy experience. All of it was amazing. And like, but my thing is, like the kind of perspectives you get, because you met so many people who are all in the game since like years, who were playing years ago, maybe not playing professionally anymore, but like they were playing
yep,
professionally back in the 2016s to 2019s. So it was such a crazy experience. You hear about different stories, you hear about different perspectives. You also hear about different mistakes people have made in the game, because these are mistakes you would probably fall into eventually, right? When you start making some
yep,
money, you probably get too arrogant in the game, you get too egoistic about your edge, you get too egoistic about oh, I can probably now move to the international fields and crush it there as well. And those buy-ins hurt sometimes if they go wrong, right? So the thing is basically like you kind of get all these like pre-made stories. Doesn't mean you have to follow it. It doesn't mean you have to like, oh, now you have to be very scared of playing online, playing internationally. You have to be very scared of this. You don't have to be scared, but you kind of have an idea as to what pitfalls people had, and you can get a little better way to avoid them maybe, so that you don't
Yeah.
probably take it to the chin. You might get a slight kick, but you don't take it to the chin, like that kind of thing. So like these like even though it might feel like oh these are like oh that trip was so expensive this and that, I'm like you have no idea about the EV it gained you in terms of not making a life mistake. Because now
Yep.
it's XYZ amount of money. 10 years down the line, when you're going to have 10 times more money and you were about to make that mistake, you probably got saved because that one story you heard in that trip, about old players and all. So it's like whenever that's the reason I'm probably so comfortable spending on travel. Is like I'm like you always learn something new that will probably either make you money in life or save you money in life later. So like
Yep.
it's like
Yeah.
that cost of travel is like basically an investment in yourself in a way. I mean, obviously
Yep.
it's also me sugarcoating it to myself because I love travel, but it is one way of seeing it as well.
No, but
I
it's
think,
true. Mm.
yeah, I think we heard it in Chan's podcast, right? You either win or you pay to learn, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's about that, right? The next question I think we'll ask Aniket. This is again through Instagram. How to be a successful poker player if you are a lose aggressive player or if you are a nit? So this guy wants to know if I'm a lose aggressive player, how can I be successful? Or if I'm a nit, how can I be successful?
So I can only talk
You
about
want,
how to be
or do you just
successful as a NIT because I'm a
like,
NIT,
you
right?
just want to tell him that you can't be successful being both?
You can't be successful as a NIT, by the way, just
Yeah,
broadly speaking.
yeah.
I mean, you can be decent, but mostly not. Uh, as a lag or whatever, I'll tell you what, I mean, doesn't matter your play style. What I feel is that you have to study. There is no option that, I mean, I have seen it. If you think you cannot, you don't have to study and still you'll succeed, it's very slim chance. I mean, I don't know. I don't say never or whatever, but you should have a baseline and you should understand certain things which you only get through studying. I can see it in myself very clearly from 2021 to now, where I progressively got better just because I've been studying and reviewing and stuff like that. Focus, I would say, is one of the things which poker players miss. Like a lot of players don't understand that focus is a kind of a superpower in poker, especially in India, where small things, if you keep track of, you understand, you get to play against the same players. So I try to be always very focused. So focus you try to develop. Don't open a YouTube video on the side, which I think I have done it 100 times, a million times, but everyone does it, I
I think
guess.
we're all guilty of it. Yeah, I guess.
So
Yeah,
Aryan is तो playing live DJ.
yeah.
लाइव और लाइव डीजे को सुन के भी ये बंदे का ये 9 फोल्ड कर दिया कल इसने लाइव स्ट्रीम पे जब ये लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रहा था कल या परसों
हाँ
आई थिंक वो किसी ने 12-15 बिग ब्लाइंड से 9 खोला उसका आरएफआई 11-12% था कुछ इसने 9
वो
फोल्ड कर दिया
सिर्फ
कट ऑफ बटन
किसने किसने
हैविंग
वो
100
थोड़ा
बीबीज हैविंग 100 बीबीज
टाइट फोल्ड था, but वो थोड़ा exploitative था. With Bazi right now, you have to just be exploitative. With Bazi, it's very hard to like you just have to pick your spots and like trust your read and instinct on the game is what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, like
So
that's what Aniket is saying, na, ki, like you need to be focused in your game so that you can see what to do, and
Yeah.
because obviously it's such a smaller field that we are playing in India, and if we are not making this adjustment, what is the point of playing, right? And that is what you
Yeah,
did really
only studying. If you're in India, only studying is not going to make you a winning player for sure, 100%. I mean, I know.
anywhere for that
Yeah,
matter.
you
Yeah,
have to study and then you have to use your fucking brain, man. Like this is a this is an analytical game. If you if you focus, if you because I'm playing with the same players. You know what my notes on you guys are? Like where I have you on
please
the
tell,
table. My notes is
please
what,
tell.
Akshay's note is Akshay and Aryan's note is Aryan. I don't even
it's
need notes
it's
because
literally the
I
same thing
just
right
know
now.
what you guys do. You probably know what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you play every day, you put in the volume, you put in decent volume. You cannot play, thrice a week or something like that, which is like the baseline. You play every day until you get to a certain level, I'm saying when you're up and coming,
mm,
you review your hands, you talk with other players. What I find, which is one of my bad qualities, is that I don't talk with other players enough, like I avoid group study. I'm not used to it ever. I do things on my own generally. But what I find
yep.
every time I have a session with someone, if I'm couple of hours reviewing hands, I get like substantial growth in my understanding. Like it's like almost a step function, like in my understanding of the game. Even if it's very abstract studying, not focused or anything like that. So I would say surround yourself in that environment where you're always thinking about poker, I would say. Make sure you're, what I do with YouTube, for example, is I've created two channels, and then one channel I only subscribe to poker channels, and I
Okay.
don't get recommended shit. So when I'm
Yeah.
studying in a time slot, I just switch to that channel on YouTube, and then every
Yeah.
recommended thing is poker related. So that
It's
helps
really
me.
smart.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
keep the environment focused on poker to get better. Once you reach a certain level, you can coast kind of in India, for example, which I'm kind of doing, I feel now. But to get when you're just starting out, make sure you're studying, you're focusing, you keeping your environment like this. These kind of things I feel make you succeed in poker.
So
And
Aniket, when you
sorry,
say
one biggest thing is the bankroll management, of course. I mean, this is the
yeah,
whole game
I
is
was going to say
bankroll management,
discipline,
by the way.
basically. Discipline in like
yeah,
multiple ways, but yeah,
This is
discipline.
the whole game is bankroll management. I mean, once you get to a certain level, you have to figure out how to play enough tournaments that you don't ruin your bankroll. That's it.
like it's your working capital, na, right? If you exhaust your working capital, how are you gonna
Yeah,
be about it? Either you have to like ask funds, which nobody likes to do. So,
yeah,
and it is not the place that you want to be, right? Even if you're asking money from your parents, it's not the place you don't want to
yeah,
be, right? In poker, because then it will create doubts in their mind also that, oh, he's taking money from us. Maybe he's doing something wrong, which you may not be, right? So it is always important to be disciplined and to play in your bankroll. But I had one question from you, Aniket. Like when you say do not try to be focused in poker, right? Because we are playing in a very smaller field. But do you like it's like completely what do you go silence when you're playing, or do you have some music going on?
no music. I recently found some. I cannot focus with music somehow. I don't know. It's not in my. I've tried listening. I put in some playlists and all. And never helps me. Recently, I found out
Okay.
some, this thing genre called focus study, which is just like some waves kind of sound.
Yeah.
So I put that on
Hmm.
sometimes. But mostly no. I'm looking at the tables. I'm taking in all the small things happening, and I take decisions based on that. Yeah.
That's very insightful, huh? Very, very insightful.
Have you ever tried these the lo-fi relaxing beats? Or they,
Yeah, I've
those
tried it. I've tried the
those don't work
lo-fi
either.
stuff, but just anything which has a beat somehow it
Ah, okay.
interferes with my thinking process. I'm just not used to it. It's like driving, when some
Yeah.
people cannot, while driving, cannot listen to music, when you're starting out because you cannot focus on everything.
Focus
So
on
I've not
multiple
just
things.
trained my muscle that way. Yeah, basically.
So
Yeah.
even for me, it's like generally music with like proper lyrics, I cannot do well. So like, but I can listen to beats and all and do fine. Like I'm still in the zone of playing and stuff like that. But when I listen to lyrics and all, I'm enjoying the music in my head. So like the
Yeah.
focus is up and down, up and down. Suddenly I got a hand. I'm like, okay, wait, what? Let me look around the table. What exactly happened? Like because my focus had broken for that a little bit.
That is something I would definitely do because right now there are. I used to watch poker videos on the side and all, and it always kind of distracts me. Then I stopped doing that. Then I started playing music. Now, but then I'm like, if I'm working and all, and I'm watching or like hearing the music and all, maybe I'm losing on some focus. So that way, I will definitely bring more focus to my game. Moving on to the last segment of the podcast. We've been here for almost 1 hour, so let's move on to
But
the last segment. That
we should ask Aryan also because Aryan is a proper lag. Yeah, I mean, what he thinks is like the secret recipe
हाँ
for.
ये बता सकते हो हाँ Aren like how do you become a successful poker player being a lag
Running
नीट तो
good.
आप हो नहीं
Uh,
बट वो रन को कॉस्ट होगा ना ब्रो फिर सक्सेसफुल कैसा
but it's basically like lag में क्या होता कि थोड़ा like post flop ability like you have to have confidence in which again only comes with studying and second is like खेलते खेलते आ जाता like you realize you kind of pick up player types you kind of pick up like how players in general like how like recreationals you can kind of pattern them out like you can probably put them into like 3 or 4 categories
Yeah,
whether are these guys going to bet the flop enough ये नहीं bet करने वाला
yep
flop enough तो इनके against you can easily like check take your showdown sorry bet the turn enough there are a couple of ways that you can probably understand how player types are and उसके around base your post flop strategy and obviously study will help you first so like this is all
yep
secondary this is always when you already know what's to be done I think someone had posted this in the poker circuit. It's like there's no point of saying exploit without knowing what you're exploiting. So like the
Uh,
baseline is your GTO study. You're
Yep.
exploiting when you're deviating from that. So if you don't exactly know that, you don't know whether you're exploiting or just making a mistake or just doing exactly what GTO says. So basically, the idea of like, yeah, so you kind of have to know your baseline study on the flops, especially, which is one thing I've studied a little bit. That's a little like better of my study, like flops and stuff. And so Wo actually works out very well because I play a wider range. I know that that is something I need to have like pit pat. Otherwise, that will become very messy. Because as you said, right, when you're opening more under the gun, you're going to get more big blind defense. You're going to get more button flats. And with today's game, way more people are playing hands than they shouldn't or like that they're not theoretically supported. So you're ending up seeing way
Hmm.
more flops in general anyway. So when your like flop strategy kind of becomes better, it kind of becomes more plus EV to play loose than tight. Because obviously now when you're seeing
Yep.
more flops, every time you win a pot is five big blinds, not two big blinds. Like when you're tight, you'll open and you probably get folds. When you're loose, you open so many more times that like each pot is becoming five bigs when you're playing it than two. So if you're confident with your that, obviously the swing will be there where you lose some pots, you'll get three bets sometimes and have to fold. But in general, when you're playing a pot and if you're confident on the flop, you'll end up making more money as a loose player than a tight player, is the way I currently see it.
I think I like to be a successful poker player, whether being a loose aggressive player or whether being a nit, is being smart about it. Like knowing who you are and how to counter that, right? You can be I agree with it's really hard to be successful if you're a nit, like a proper nit. You are never going to make so much money that you can say, oh, I am a successful poker player. But if you're smart about it, be a smart poker player. It's not about being loose aggressive, being a nit, being a tight aggressive player, being a whale. You just need to be a smart poker player, right? If you're a smart enough poker player, then you can be successful. If you're not smart, then no matter what your player type is, you won't be successful, is
That's
what I
where
would say. Or
actually I face a problem.
sorry.
Like I'm not able to adjust my strategy at the right time versus the right opponents, which is why
Yeah.
Aniket gets to three bet the living hell out of me, and I just have to give up and leave it.
No, no, but Aryan, I'll tell you, this is a good, you're in the stage where you're playing aggressive, and then, great players, which has happened with me also. Great players will destroy you because you're so loose, right? So then you
Yeah.
get to fine tune it and learn on
Yeah,
the job
yeah.
also. So that's part of the process. Of course, it will
Yep.
get faster if you just, focus, if you study off the table and dial it down even more when before getting on the table. But just even if you play a little more aggressive than you need to, the good players will kill you, and then you after the session you will feel like, "Hey, shit man, why did I do this?" Then you go back, study, and this is what has happened to me actually also. So it's fine actually.
Yeah,
You're
it's the
just in
same.
the
It's like
process of fine tuning the your strategy.
And it really helps you when you are playing on off days like Mondays and Tuesdays and all, where you have less
yeah,
tables,
definitely.
where you can focus more. Then you basically adapt to these kind of players very fast.
It also like basically
Uh,
the idea is it helps in softer fields. So like any kind of softer fields, whether it's Mondays or it's like 2.2K the sprints and stuff like that. When the fields are in general softer, it
yeah.
helps.
But the thing is, 2.2 game, you might not find the really good players, right?
Which is why I
Maybe
said,
you'll
so
find
you will
one.
not get like so basically the idea of exploiting a very loose strategy comes with variance, which a lot of the
Yeah.
recreations are not willing to take.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like when you have to exploit a very loose strategy, you have to three bet and four bet jam more, three bet jam more. You have to like probably play more three bet pots. You have to play more inflated pots, play more pots which is like 20 bigs on the flop and stuff like that. So it kind of becomes
Yep.
like flop पे ही SPR अगर 1.5 1.7 है तो mostly तो all in होने वाला है. और नहीं भी होने वाला
Hmm.
तो it's still going to cost you like at least 80% of your stack when like one C bet also comes in.
Yep.
So the idea is that it just basically the variance is more. You're going to have to rebuy more often, but it's still profitable because you know the players lose aggressive, which is why the better players who are well bankrolled have been able to crush me in that. But the
Yep.
recreationals still find it hard because they just don't want to lose their buy-in that they've invested. Not on a hand like probably ace 10 off by three betting and like
Yeah.
barreling versus me.
True. Definitely true. Well, let's move to the last segment of the podcast. That is the most fun segment of the podcast. All right. There are few questions that I'm going to ask you guys. You got to be quick. You got to be honest. All right. They are not that, what do you call, controversial in my world, but it might be controversial in your world.
हैम्पर मिलेगा हैम्पर.
हैम्पर में हैम्पर में मेरा प्यार और रिस्पेक्ट मिलेगा
ठीक है,
और
काफी हो
अच्छी
गया.
और अच्छी और अच्छी editing.
Yeah, that's important.
All right. The first question for you, Aniket, is who are the three players you don't want to see on your poker table in India?
I don't want to see his answer is honestly no one, but the players which I find the toughest to play against would be Inter, Sood, and Munot.
What about you, Aran? It can't be the same players, okay? Then we make it be like
I think
not too
it's
spicy.
Sood, Lakshpal, and probably Aniket as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Aniket is a tough player to
Because
play
for
against.
me, that's what he said, right? It's like when someone knows I'm that loose and they're okay with taking the variance, they're going to shove it very far up
Yeah.
for me.
Like for example, like when I see when Aniket answered right, like Sood, Adi, and Manoj, right? Those three players are very same play style, right? So I'll put them one. Okay, this is one play style I don't want
Adi
you
is
on my table.
different. I mean, he is
He's
clearly,
also hyper aggressive, right?
but
Adi is my coach, so I can't say anything about
yeah,
that.
clearly a level above though. But you can see it. You can feel it.
He's like he's just the beast, both in
Yeah,
poker
for
and
sure.
in just different. Like when if we ever meet, I'll tell you the things about him. It's just great. Like the amount of respect I have for him is just unparalleled to anyone.
Yeah, I met him once in
Uh,
Goa for the first time. It was crazy. Like it was like meeting a celebrity for me. I was like, shit, how can I go and talk to him now?
no,
I still haven't met him.
it happened. It happened the same with me. I met him in Goa. We were waiting for the ferry to be boarded and all. So yeah, that was the first time I interacted with him. And then I've stayed at his place also
Oh, okay.
this
Ah,
year.
that's nice.
Nice.
I started off through Twitter. I know I started through PokerStars.com when I used to play with him on .com
Oh
when
wow.
I was in Australia. Then it was came on Twitter when I asked him to get my PG application sorted कि किसी को check करवा दो. Then it came out to be the boat that I met him on and just had like a friendly chat. And now he's my coach, my mentor. So it's just
Yeah.
like a full spectrum that is happening with me in my life. Well, the next question we'll ask you, Arun, first. What is one heads up match in India that you will pay to see?
One heads up
One head
match.
that you will pay to watch.
I think Mozzie
किसी का
versus.
मोदी वर्सेस आदि वो जीटी बहुत जीटी नहीं.
As I said, like when it's on, when it's like this, I like to like see the game.
And also GTO is the most crazy generally, it's more crazy than any of us can be. It's more aggressive than any of us. So it's like it's good to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
And they're both players who I think will be very comfortable pulling the trigger. Like neither of them, I think, are going to back down with like pulling the
Yeah.
trigger or avoid the variance. Both of them are going to be at it, going to be fighting, and I think probably
What about you, Aniket? Who would you pay to see?
This the what Aryan answered is like one of obviously it's a classic answer, right? Like we would
yeah.
like to see,
Yeah.
but just to go with something different, now that I thought about it, it's like I would like to see Sood versus Kavipri actually. Mr. Amit, legend
The
Amit
first thought
Gyan.
that came was Kavipri versus who are we discussing?
Yeah, and
He's
not even
so
Adi I will
sensible.
go with because Sood has even more meta with Kavipri because he plays so much, right? He
Yeah.
plays more
Yeah.
than Adi. So I would like to see, and Sood will know that he has an edge. So how those decisions will affect him in taking spots and stuff like that. Because Sood versus Adi, both of them won't think they have too much of an edge, right? So they will take spots. But here I would really like to see that.
If you ask me, I would
Oh,
probably
this.
would want to see Karthik fight out with either like Gaurav Sood or like Monot, Gaurav Sood or Adi, and for that matter anyone. Because Karthik is a guy who studies GTO as well and then plays a lot of live.
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see how he plays versus the really good GTO players. So for me, it would be that.
yeah.
All right. Then what advice would you want to give to youngsters watching this podcast? One advice.
Go on, Aryan.
Manage your bankroll well. It's the last thing you think about as a youngster when you're starting out. It eventually in
Mhm.
life you realize that the whole game is about bankroll because your skill edge is generally not more than 5 or 6% in a good field, but your variance
Yep.
swings way harder than that. So only if you can take the variance can you realize your edge. Otherwise, there's no point of having an edge.
Very well said. Aniket, I'll change a question for you. Same question. What advice would you give to people who are in, working jobs and are considering to switch to poker? What advice would you give them?
Very tough because I don't have that good of a perspective on it, like what it entails. But I know a couple of people who have done it. I would say
Yep.
don't make the switch before you reach a certain level. Like I said before,
Mhm.
poker is a great lifestyle career. So you can do it on the
Yep.
side while you get better. Get to a certain point where you feel confident that you're a winning player. Study on the side. Put in medium amount of volume while you're on the job, and then you know the Nishant, right? Like Nishant, this
Nishant
guy,
Sharma, right?
Rectis, yeah. So
Oh,
he
Nishant
Nishant.
Kumar, I think.
Kumar, yeah, Nishant Chaudhary, I think, yeah. So he left his job recently, and he did it only after he was comfortable enough to, like, he was a winning player and he was comfortable enough to leave it, and now he's crushing, of course.
Yeah.
So you reach a certain
I
point
think he
before.
won Moneymaker last week.
Yeah, and by the way, with these questions, I always, to youngsters, like questions to young people, advice, I always give a negative kind of advice, ki don't do it. Don't, because I feel like people who will succeed are the ones who will not listen to my advice. And people who listen to
Yep.
my advice, anyways, they would have not succeeded. So it's fine. Like if someone told me, ki, hey, don't try to be the best player.
क्रिटिकल गाय ही इज टू हिमसेल्फ लाइक मेरी कोई एडवाइस सुन रहा है तो सक्सेसफुल नहीं होगा तो वो मेरी बात सुन ही नहीं
No,
रहा
no. If you
सच अ
listen to a
क्रिटिकल
negative
पर्सन ही
advice,
is
I would say you have something missing anyways in that field, at least I feel. Like मुझे कोई बोले कि मुझे कोई 5 साल पहले बोलता कि मत कर यार ये बहुत रिस्की है. I would have not listened anyways, right? So I feel
yeah
like with all these risk-taking advices, I always say the negative thing, and the
Yeah, if
people
you
who are
listen to the negative, then good for you. If you don't, then good for you. It's like,
yeah
exactly. खुद में ही वो होना ही चाहिए. नहीं है तो मैं कुछ दे के एडवाइस क्या करूँ, you know?
मेरी एडवाइस सुन के क्या
I
उखाड़ रहे
feel
हो
like it
भाई
goes with like as you said, with the risk-taking ability, it's actually very cool. It's like when if
yeah
you're willing to take the risk and I tell you don't and you don't, then don't.
Yeah, if you
But if
don't,
you're willing
then
to take the
you
risk and
proved
I
it
say
that I'm
don't and
right.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, I say don't and you're like, no, wait, I have a better idea. I'll not listen to this guy. I'll do it anyway. Then
Yeah.
it's fine. Then go for it all.
It comes back to the same point, right? We're talking about not being self-aware, you being a little delusional. You have to have that. Like,
yeah
if someone asks me, hey, I leave my good MNC job to start a startup or something, should I do it? I would say don't do it, right? So if you are going to
yeah
be great, you will not listen to me, right? So same with poker. Anything with risk, I think that's a good strategy, I think.
It also comes to confidence in the idea. Like, if you're not confident in your own idea with my one no shaking you up, then don't do it. But if
Exactly.
you're that confident that 10 of us can tell you no and you still are like, no, I'm dead
Yeah.
confident, you be a little delusional
yeah
but dead confident, then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, then take that shot.
Yeah.
Because probably
that
your
is good
idea has generally some weight if you're that confident.
Yeah, and there is a good chance of failure, but that's life, Failure is, it's fine. I mean,
हम लोग तो
everyone
daily
fails
try कर रहे
all
हैं.
the time.
nobody reaches success without failures
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And in poker, you have to face failure every day, every minute
every
you have
day
to face failure, right? So
yeah
it's a good
definitely
precursor, it's a good filter to have. Just say
Yeah.
no to everyone. The ones who get in already passed a good test to get in.
एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है वो मेरा पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है थोड़ा क्लिक बेटी टाइप है एंड फॉर दिस इज फॉर यू अनिकेत एंड यू कैन चूज नॉट टू आंसर दैट ओके
अरे
बट अगर आंसर करोगे तो मैं एडिट नहीं करूंगा मतलब मैं काटूंगा नहीं ठीक है तो पिक योर स्वॉट ओके
Checkmate
धमकी
हो
नहीं
गया.
दे रहे हो यार, बस प्यार और रिस्पेक्ट दे रहे हो.
एडिटिंग में तो दे रहा हूँ अच्छी सी लाइक एंड इट्स अ वेरी क्रूशियल क्वेश्चन आल्सो लाइक सी यू हैव 9 crores in cash
Yeah,
right बट what is the actual reality of those caches 9 करोड़ के कैशेस होने का मतलब नहीं है कि
yeah,
9 करोड़ बैंक में पड़ा है
yeah,
राइट
of course.
तो क्या हकीकत क्या है उस चीज की कि 9 करोड़ के कैशेस हो गए ठीक है उसकी
Okay,
हकीकत क्या
that's a great question, and I'll not give you the exact amount, of course, but I'll tell you that all this is super misleading. Like the caches is you should just ignore it. I mean, you should not even look at the caches. It's not even close. I mean, how
है
much
या
the profit is a different thing. I have had in the last 4 5 years, I've had years where I've earned a lot, and I have had years where I've earned. I mean, luckily, I've not had negative years or 0 years, but I've earned
या
significantly less, like some mid-stake guy or low-stake guy or something. And then it balances
या
out. But this cashes part, 9 crore, everything is just a number to entice you. And I feel,
या
let's say, if you look on PG or if you look at even the site's promotion and stuff like that, uh, I think it's
they
their
use that
duty, man, to promote it that way because that's what brings
या
people in. And I feel it's our duty as experienced players to bring a check of reality so that the sites and the publication should keep doing that. I feel like because it brings new people in. It's fine, but it's our
या
duty to be realistic about it. That hey, I mean, I'm not even. It's like not even half of that, right? Like really, हाँ बहुत मतलब it's
Especially caches, right? Because like
हाँ ब्रो
generally when you'll have
10%
9 crore caches, you'll
20
probably have like 10 crore
yeah.
cash.
10-20% of
I'll just say
10% is also very good
What?
मैं कह रहा हूँ 9 करोड़ में से आप 50% कह रहे हो, 10-20% भी इट्स वेरी
हाँ,
गुड.
20%
Realistically, it's
type कुछ.
something more like that. Like in your bank account,
Yeah.
after paying tax, after living your life,
Yeah, yeah,
10, 20% is what
हाँ.
you're generally going to have. Because it
yeah.
actually happens to me. So I have a very close friend who, whenever we meet someone, he'll introduce, and like if they don't know me, he'll first show my PG profile. I'm like, that's the last thing you
Yeah.
do because it looks way more glamorous than it is. And already, unfortunately,
Definitely.
people have an idea of poker life like, oh, is this, is that? I'm like, yeah, but it's also hard work. वो है hard work. So basically, I'm a little more relaxed in life. I'm a little more chill as a person. So everyone sees me and assumes that poker's like that. I'm like, there are people
Yeah.
working way harder than me, doing way better than me, and like making like way more money than me. I'm like not the ideal example to see. I am like way more relaxed in my life. I'm way more chilled out. I'm way more like, okay, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna do this, gonna do that. That is not the life.
Yep.
That is one part of the life that okay, yeah, you get the freedom as you said. You can travel
Yeah,
with playing. That freedom exists. But वही है ना कि ये स्पाइडरमैन वाला लाइन आ गया with great power comes great responsibility. इतना आपको हाथ
Yep.
में पावर दिया, you are your own boss, but अगर संभाला नहीं तो फिर you're not going to have your own company. That's the problem.
For someone who's watching this, and if you guys like see anyone's caches, it doesn't mean that it's profit. Like it could be like 10 crore उसने लगाया और 9 crore के caches हो, समझ रहे हो, वो
yeah,
ऐसा
you
हो
can be
सकता
in a
है.
loss,
It is
like,
possible. It can be possible. Like I have seen people who have 5 crores caches and 7 crores in
Binds.
binds, तो वो हो जाता है. वो चीज है पोकर में. Like see, it's right thing that the poker sites are doing, how they are promoting it, because that is the only way they will get players. But when we do podcasts, or when I bring out these players to talk to you,
yeah,
or even when I talk to you guys, it is important and it is my responsibility to tell you the truth about the game also, right?
yes,
So that is very essential. Like don't go with the figures कि अनिकेत के 9 करोड़ के कैशेज हैं, आर्यन के 5 करोड़ के, अक्षय के 2 करोड़ के, जो भी है वो नंबर मैटर ही नहीं करता है, right?
exactly.
It is not about our caches, because our daily output is so big that the caches will be there, right? Even if we min cash every fucking tournament, will reach to that stage, right?
Yeah,
And it would min cashing everything does not mean we are profitable, right? We can still be in
Definitely.
loss.
for anyone who's new to the game, just to give you a concrete number example, is like, for example, in the last 3 months, I shipped the Millionaire and the Moneymaker
Hmm.
and the
Yep.
Adda ka something also Mega Million or something for like each cash
10
was,
लाख हो गया मोटा मोटा.
yeah, each cash was like 10 lakh plus, but last 3 months for me were negative. So that
Yeah.
shows you how much, it's like,
Yeah.
it's that number is like a fake number, basically. It's a
So for
throwaway number.
context, you'd have like 40 lakhs in cashes and profit zero kind of scenario.
Yeah,
Like
like
we've
for
all
the
had
year.
that at some times of our life, like 6 months of our life, where you're like 50 lakhs in cash and made no money at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're probably losing to
हो
the
जाता
rake.
है, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it happened with me, right? I had two brick series for the live series. I was down like 20-25 lakhs, and then I was down 10 lakhs on the online part, right? And then I did not receive any money for about 10 months or so, right? So,
Uh,
it happens. Like it's part of the game, right? It's not
It's
every
happened to
business
everyone,
does
I
not
guess.
make
It's
profit.
happened to everyone. I think it's part of the game.
Yeah,
Everyone, like all of us who play it, kind of understand it.
yeah, just people
It's
yeah.
starting out may get attracted to it in a false way.
मतलब हर बिजनेसमैन या हर कोई बिजनेस हर साल प्रॉफिट नहीं कमाता.
Right.
राइट, दे मेक मनी बट दे ऑल्सो लूज मनी ऑल्सो.
Yeah.
सो वो चीज है. और वही सेम पोकर का कॉन्सेप्ट है कि पोकर को बिजनेस वे में ही देखना है, क्योंकि जो इनकम है वो महीने की इनकम नहीं, वो साल की इनकम है, राइट? जो आज आ रहा है वो शायद अगले 4 महीने कुछ भी ना आए.
Yeah.
आज अगर मुझे 20 लाख आ गया तो मेरे को लगता है कि 6 महीने कुछ भी नहीं आएगा, तो वो 20 लाख को 6 से डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा, ना कि वो 1 महीने से डिवाइड होगा.
Yeah, for sure.
तो इट्स लाइक
क्योंकि
अ
एक
बिजनेस एंड वी
महीने
कैन
का नहीं
लूज
है, वो
मनी
तो एक
ऑल्सो.
दिन का इनकम है ना. एक टूर्नामेंट में ही आया, बट वो
हाँ,
एक दिन का इनकम नहीं है.
हाँ,
वो
हाँ,
वो कब नेक्स्ट इनकम आएगा, यू डोंट नो. यू हैव टू like, which is actually like, as you said, poker teaches you a lot of like crazy life skills, like very soft skills in life,
yeah,
that you money management and all of this. Like bankroll management, what? For poker, bankroll management
yeah.
is essentially money management for life. How are you going to use
Yeah.
the existing money that you have, that you don't go broke and you grow it?
That is so true.
And life has its
चलो,
own variance as
हाँ,
well, right?
yeah, मतलब होता है, definitely, like that is there, and we can just tell you what we know, and what we can share is what our life experience has been. You've had three different guys talk about their poker journey. One who's a 25, one who's a 31, one who's 28, right?
Yeah.
And we all have different experiences in poker. So let's wrap this up, guys. Do you want to say anything to me or to the people who are watching
It was a
Thank you so
fun
before
much.
I wrap this
experience
up?
with you guys, and Akshay, I really love that you're doing this, man, because you know, just being a player is fine, but in such a starting stage of a ecosystem, which is poker in India, you need people like
Yep.
you who are, spreading the surface area of the ecosystem, in whatever way possible, like even commentary or this podcast or even Aryan does the streams. It's really good that way, that's how you increase the whole ecosystem. So it's great. And it was fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind
I was
words.
about to say the same thing. It's
Uh,
really cool that, like as we said, like poker brands are marketing on their side, and we're doing the job of
yep.
like telling the public our like real stories, more real stories than obviously that. And thank you
Yep.
for the opportunity that I got, like to give it to me, so to share my story. And it was really fun speaking with
Yep.
you, Aniket, as well. So it was a
Yeah,
really
same
cool
here, man.
experience all around.
Now you guys can go to lunch in the afternoon because Aniket doesn't have friends who wants to go to lunch in the afternoon,
And
I
right?
definitely don't mind.
yeah, meet sometime.
So
Of
yeah.
course, we're both in Mumbai, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me wrap this up, guys. All right, thank you guys for watching in, for tuning in, and also watching the podcast for this amount of time. We really hope that you've enjoyed this podcast and have learned one or two things about poker, about life. I'll bring more podcasts, more guests in the coming future. But keep supporting the channel, and thank you for watching.